One and all, it is good to be back for the Midweek Musters. That's right, we've returned with one of our own creations here. Thanks to Kayu's hard work, putting our idea to work, we've come up with Sacred Grove, and there's been a lot of epic games happening on this map so far this week, from what I've heard. Really interesting map, actually. You basically have these big, thick tree lines around the center that kind of split the map into 3 lanes. Quite wide lanes, hard to wall. Thought this would be an intriguing map, not so easy to contain yourself, but also a lot to play for in the center, not to mention the tactical pivot of going one way or the other. It's going to be a fun one. We've got Beastie versus B, the B&B Classic here to open up the day. A reminder that the winner of this will face off against either Duma or Numidan, and on the other side of the bracket, we already have Marino and Anatan squaring off against each other in semi-finals. Epic week for sure. So, Beastie just got back from the LAN. I'm sure he's feeling a little bit fatigued, maybe. A little bit rough. That Louis MT series, I think, was a flashbang to the face. I'm sure Voldemort can attest that as well. He was also there. Lovely to see that, lad. But B, I don't know what B's been cooking maybe behind the scenes. Maybe he's been watching. Maybe he's been sniffing out some weaknesses. French versus Zhu Xi is an intriguing one I've been finding more and more recently. On a map like this, Pro Scouts is obviously just going to be a given. You know, I didn't try to lean into this map being an anti-Pro Scouts map because there's only so much you can do to challenge an already aggressively overwhelming meta. My thought process with the design of this map is we wanted a map that could become a multi-seasonal applicable map, right? Instead of saying, oh man, Pro Scouts really sucks right now, let's make a map that just middle fingers Pro Scouts and then we get rid of it for like, 2 weeks and then it gets nerfed. We want to take a different approach, right? Because it probably will be 2 weeks. We've got the announcement of when the DLC is going to come out. I imagine Pro Scouts be nerfed alongside that, 8th of April. So with that in mind, I felt like I'd rather focus on us designing something that could stand the test of time and be a viable go-to map for potentially years to come. I think players have been happy with it so far. And I think Beastie might be happy this spawn. Double gold plus the stone, really nice against the French. Gives you the ability to get the hand cannon slits as well as the gold to rush towards those tech decisions. So, expectations here on the openings. We're going to go between 2 and 1 times speed just for the first few minutes. BC should be going into a Rax beginner here, so he can defend himself against the incoming knights. B is likely to open up with a single knight. Typically, one of them follow up with scouts straight away. You actually need to do this, because if you don't, what ends up happening is the French will overwhelm you just by going scouts and gathering. Remember, French do produce slightly quicker with their School of Cavalry, and all stables as a result of that, but they are inherently going to always be slower than the Chinese / Zhu Xi. Now, this is interesting. Beastie has decided to not go for the Rax at all. Is it because he's going to do it on a delay? Is there a world in which he bypasses Rax altogether? I mean, he's got the village set up on the tree line, so he's protected there. At this point, you can keep all of your people safe. And because he got the double gold in the Meditation Garden, he might not feel like he needs to necessarily get more gold actively. That's very interesting. Actually very smart. Considering he's got the 4 deer spawn, it would mean that he would actually have to take a big risk coming out here on a delay. But unfortunately for him, B has already intercepted him, and he's already moved across. Check this. He's shoving the deer away from him to make it even easier to snatch and run. Okay, so we said this seems quite smart. It can't be feeling quite clever right now. Yeah, he comes in for the rack, so it was the delayed approach. I think this might have been more reactionary, but... get it? Reactionary? Oh, God. I hate myself. But I think, in general, the tricky part about this is now B is going to be able to get, potentially, able to get 3 deer stacks here. He already has archers coming, which is going to deal well with both the spearman and the horse. But the issue you have here is Beastie is, like, you're not blindly going to add in horsemen here against French, right? Because typically what French players are doing at the moment is adding in a lot more knights. Even when they see spearmen, it's just knights, because they can out-rotate you. So unless he now sees the archers, he's going to assume that he's up against just cavalry. And as a result, probably only spam more spears. So it looks like they do end up splitting some of the remaining deer here. But remember, on the other side, B still has his full stack of 7 twice. So this is kind of rough on the food game there. In terms of sheep, we're down to, 10 versus 5. So he did get less sheep off the map. BC has that positive going for him. And where have I been? I have been in Germany, in Hamburg, hosting an Age of Empires 2 LAN as the stage host and desk host. It was a wonderful event. The only negative was how ill I got at that event. And I am still recovering. I hope it isn't showing too much in my voice. So BC does come back for the gold now. This is because he's realizing he just has to get out of the age, right? Like, I don't think you realistically want to stay in the age too long, but typically you might look to prolong the age a little bit more to get more deer. Now it's too late. There's not really much there. So this is nice because at this point in the game, because of that stone generation on the meditation garden, he can afford double outpost hand cannon sleds. This will stop the knights diving. Tricky part is with B adding in archers, we do get an opening here theoretically to go for blacksmith into siege engineering. I don't think that B's playing it quick enough if that's the idea though. No, look at the timing here. You'd be way too late to build a ram and get in because your opponent's going to overgather on the gold. And he did get just enough deer plus sheep remaining to get the initial lances out to push you away. So for B, he'll probably keep bloating knights for another 2 or 3 minutes. After that, you know, we likely are going to be looking at your standard Royal Institute type play. The reason why while scaling more knights is worth it here is because you're going to have to block these relics. And I like that switch from Beastie, by the way. Did you see that? He was going to go for the Shallow Monastery. He switched to Mount Lu. That's correct. In this matchup, I actually think that this might possibly be one of the worst matchups for Shallow Monks. Especially in the current meta. Your opponent's only going to build French Knights. The best thing to kill those monks is high damage units. Not like high DPS, right? Like if you're a Zhuge, you're going to fare worse. If you are a Onabagation, you're going to fare worse because they have reasonable armor and health. But the other thing is with the knights, you can just cycle them, right? You can charge in again and again. You can pull away the injured ones. So overall, it's a really tricky matchup for Zhu Xi to play monks into. So instead he goes to the Mount Lu Academy. That's going to give him a little bit more food generation, which he really needs now that he's lost the Pro Scout game. And he will get straight into the knights. So strange me and Vodka are switching to Area 2. I don't know about that. What is that pulling around? He ain't switching nowhere. 8 months. What a legend. Thank you much. Appreciate the sub, mate. No, like, you're kidding, right? You know Vodka, like, he started in AoE 2, dude. He was a professional AoE 2 player. He observed in AoE 2 first. Yeah, not really switching. Why not do both? You guys know that I have now worked in 4 different Age of titles. That's crazy. I must be like 69. Okay, so B has started to stockpile up now, so you can see by the time he's going to be looking to tech, around maybe 13 knights should be the target. Not a bad position to be in. In the meantime, he is patrolling the relics, quitting Beastie. He's making the correct call here. He hasn't rushed into the monks yet. He's delayed it until he's got enough knights out that he can start to take control of the battlefield. Did I take the chance to try and poach people to AoE 4? I feel as if my charismatic normal arguments may have been muffled by the coughing and dripping and dying. Like these poor villagers are doing right now. Shiv's out. Okay, in some ways probably the best thing he could have done. Yeah, allows the rest of the knights to show up home. And the panic sets in. BC tries to get out too little too late. So only 3 worker losses in the end. I say only, he got rid of 2 lances. It's actually scaled his lead even higher, and you have to remember the French get more villages over time. Yeah, relic split here. I mean, this could turn into a rush for B, actually. I'm a bit concerned, because like I said, the shallow monks don't really fare that well against French knights, but the rough part about this build is it means that normal monks fare even worse. They're meant to not be the main target. They're meant to come in after you've dominated the Mount Lu Academy openings, but the reality check here is this unit is going to die much quicker than the Shallow Monk. 1 knight can handle this. It's like north side, the Lancers are at least going to be secure, but nice. Good reaction there by BC. He realizes, okay, B's going to know that I'm coming for this relic now. Why else would I come out at this very point? So B is checking. Not quite able to find him here. East side is definitely going to be a fail, though. BC does still have the relic safe close to home, but he's yet to actually yoink it. Not just that, B now marching in. This isn't really a position that you can try to break here. And there's that wall of denial we were talking about. Monk died so fast, he disappeared instantly. He got hit so hard by those cavalry units that it broke the speed of sound, speed of light, and he just disappeared. The only thing that was left of him was like that little kind of star effect you get. You know, when in Smash Bros, you knock someone up and out of the arena, and then they kind of cartwheel off into the distance. You get the little ding. That was that monk. If you want an action replay of it, just watch this one in a few moments. Now, hold on a sec. Ooh, beat that is greedy, man. I wondered. I mean, the 18 Knights, Royal Institute just end the game, right? But Guildhall. B in particular has been doing a lot of Guildhall games. A lot more French players have been going for this option instead. I guess it just removes the art of Zhu Xi going into the Imperial Age. Well, there's no out of this fight. The villagers just have to do what they can, but it is going to turn into a massacre. Other side, there was an attempted dive in, but nothing really gained here. Yeah, this is looking bad, guys. I can't believe this. From B's position to now, this is getting a bit shaky. He's 5 down. There's 2 relics down the way home. I can't believe this. How did this turn around so much in the course of, like, 2 minutes? The first raid was acceptable. You just shake the losses. You don't care. This one starts to stick. Oi, 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 oi. He still has triple the knight count, but he can't do anything with it until he's unlocked the tech up, right? And in the meantime, now your opponent can start to prep more lancers, spearmen. He's got relics coming home, so you can afford the additional gold at a point where his starting gold's running low. Warlord will at least be denied. Ooh. I mean, slick moves, but this is all going to be tough, right? Like, these two should all but be secured. This one, no, this surely not. Wait, are you kidding me? Dude, you know what? It may look like 2 on the count. There's definitely going to be 2 coming home, but there's still easily 3 up for contest here. I'll be shocked if this one gets in. That upgrade just came through. Okay, so he's another monk. That could work like a bait and switch, right? Like, I killed the monk, so now I can walk back. And yes, BC uses that to now ferry it home. A lot of spearmen are coming. Arbitrary switch up on the way from B. Remember, Arbitrary did get nerfed slightly, as crossbows did, with their base damage. The Gambesons are still going to be a very big deal here, though. And what is up, Jacano? Thank you very much. Appreciate the sub. Welcome back. Yeah, these fights are now bad for BC like this. Before they were fine, like 2v1 because of the age advantage. But now you just have to avoid them like the plague. Like, at this point, BC has 4 lances left. Best thing you can do is this, where you just run away and bait and buy time. Or go back into the enemy base and kill more villagers. Anything else is a waste of these units. And that's all about buying time to get the spearmen, to get the crossbowmen. But, guys, we have a bigger problem. He's running out of food. And not just that, look at where all his food is located. He got double berry on the same side. This is really unfortunate. There's situations where this is quite nice, but in this game, I mean, triple as well if you go by the one further out. In this game, this could just kind of kill him. Because now you need to worry about getting out to the new food sources, but you also need to worry about protecting your wood, protecting your gold, stone, whatever else you're going for. And what is up, Koppenschneller? Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the sub. Look at you guys. We're already starting a sub train on the first stream back. Love it. And B does the correct thing. Now that he's removed the Lancer threat, he can start to move out to greedy resources. I feel like B has been one of the better players at utilizing this element, especially when we were seeing French play from him in recent weeks and months. A lot of people still just trying to play it safe. We've seen French players start adding farms, actually, after the deer run out, but not B. He's got lots of wood for granaries. I don't know if I count this as a lot of wood. It's enough to get your granaries and farms set up, but then you've got no wood for, like, you know, utility units, such as spearmen. So it's kind of tricky. I told you! You saw it right there! That was a Smash Bros. Knockout. Uppercut, off the map, in the distance, ding! Gone. I don't know what it is with these monks. They're not as much monks as they are witches. Look! Heresy. This is absolute heresy on my screen right now. You'll sneak around. Looks like that was a spearman. Not really much damage being done there. And we do have the outpost creep out now, so BC knows he needs to secure somewhere, because that's the other issue, right? Like, yes, he can go granaries and farms, but where do you build them? He actually needs to clear these berries, realistically, to create the area right here, because you want to have it close to the edge of the map, so that you don't have this 360 surround risk. And there we go. He's going to get the keep drop as well to secure it. So most likely what we'll see here is granary drop, like, next to the farm, to the mill, rather, and then farms scattered around. By the way, guys, big reminder, we are working with AMD this month. Click that link if you will. We're doing an awareness campaign about the new 1970s. They will shock people, actually. The bang for buck value, like the dollar per frame, completely exceeded everyone's expectations. Just like I think B is on this opening game. I mean, Beastie, I'm kind of surprised he's still alive, right? You can argue in a way B's kind of playing with his food. Like, when you look at the military count, it may not seem far apart, but the quality is day and night difference. Wall's now going up, so B looking to secure for the long card. Remember, he does have the guild halls, so now delaying the game doesn't really hurt him that much. You can even start thinking about sacred sites. Now, the sacred sites are slightly staggered. A win condition is definitely viable here. The goal wasn't to give full neutrality, but to kind of like, you know, balance it out up against the trade posts. I worked a lot with the thought process of like, I want trade to be viable but risky. And I wanted sacred sites to be winnable, but not completely 100% neutral. So the logic being, instead of it being like you get castle and you immediately go for a sacred site victory, you'd have to think about castle drop to go for a sacred site victory. And yes, this is my first cast of the week. I am still definitely not 100% on my throw. In fact, I might have to occasionally mute just to cough my guts up. Like I just done then. Alright, one's if you think B's going to win this. Two's if you think BC's going to find a way back in. I do take some key issues with like the approach that BC's now leaning into. It's a slow rolling comp. And we're not on a choke point map. So this whole idea of Nesta B, Spearman, right? This is the thing that I really liked about the idea, the concept of this map. Is when you try to take this strategic approach where you are hunkering down and not coming out, look at your base setup. Your base setup is very merciless. It's not easily defendable initially. To make it defendable, to also create a situation where you're able to push someone down a linear path, you need to remove two other options that are widespread. This is a map that most definitely rewards presence on the game, on the map. And because B has that presence, it means he can easily start to avoid these Nesta Bs by going down the flanks. Now, what's interesting about that, the Nesta Bs being slow, but the Knights being fast, means that longer rotation won't necessarily lose them time to reach the enemy base compared to the Nox. BC's already found a way back in. He is an eco-lead has made the castle. Oh, sweet child of mine. He is in a better spot than he was several minutes ago, yes, but B has more farms than him. B also has a guild hall that almost has 2,000 food in it. Now, BC does have a relic lead, but B's now getting the sacred sites to even it out. So unless BC can now afford to go for the Yuan dynasty, which would be a lofty 1,800 resources, he doesn't really have that economical edge that you're thinking of. A little bit of clash here around the board. The border has almost been tapped dry, right? And he's already shoved across to the west side as well. So even more food for him to just elongate his game with. And yes, good eyeballs. B does indeed have the keep, which is giving bigger discounts here as well. Not just that, but it's also which comp will scale better into Imperial. Is it Beasties or Bs? I mean B the player, not Bs that Beastie has. BC wishes he could own this B, because this guy is vicious. But these things tend to lose their volatility in Imperial Age, especially against Mass Knights. Yes, the Bs. We'll look to give a bit of a tickling. B, I don't think you need to force this. Imperial Age is just around the corner. There, he just pulled it. Okay, so yeah, he was probing. He wanted to make sure he'd pinned his opponent. Now that he has, he says, great, it's time to attack. But has he revealed too much there? Notice what Beastie immediately does without hesitation. He starts to march forward. This is a bit concerning, actually, because of the small stealth forest. If he comes at it from the wrong angle, he might not glimpse the foundation here. He is going to have to start defending soon. There it is, it's revealed. He hesitates, he sees it, he knows it's too late. He cannot stop it going up. They try to poke and punish a few villages here, but ultimately that Red Palace too close to complete. Beastie now an entire age behind. The farm transition now only underway. Okay, big advantage opportunity here for B. Second TC now coming in. Remember, these function like mini castles now with the Arbelist emplacements. On top of that, he's producing a villager every 16 seconds. It's like you're the Zhu Xi's cousin here. So where does Beastie go? If he goes into Imperial, I mean, the obvious play is you need to get more spearmen. You don't really want to be playing crossbows and arbitrary. It does feel rough as the game goes on. Now they're going to have things like the crossbow stirrups. And of course, you don't have hand cannons. Honestly, I quite like the idea of like gradually getting towards something like the Yuan Raiders. It's really far down the line though. Like a big part of BC's defense strategy here is going to be spears, spears, spears. They do have that annoying fast MAA. You don't really want to be spamming Palace Guard into Mass Knights though, right? You need to defend against this threat first. If BC can find a way to actually wipe this Night Mass, game completely flips. Because the reality is B, you know, given enough time, sure, he'll fix the farm issue. But right now, he has got a food issue approaching. He's done a great job of delaying it with the ball, which actually, no. I think he realized. I need to not... Oh, God. Sorry, laughing is not good for my throat right now. We've all been there, guys. I think, if I'm not mistaken, what happened there is he didn't realize he didn't build the mill. So, long walk back, and then had to return. BC, he does go for the second TC as well, so has to be aware that like B would have probably made this like double TC move. Otherwise, he'd be pushing already, right? Because the cannon advantage. We have got tech advantages. Arbitrary upgrade already in. Elite Knight tech just hit. This could end up being quite a hard hold. Upside for Beastie is it is mass arbitrary. There's 7 Nesta Bs. B has yet to add in the cannons. Needs a little bit of time. Set up some trade. I don't think it's worth delaying the game here. Zhu Xi Eco can be a bit spooky in the late game. They do, you know, they function like in some ways a slightly weaker Chinese because they lack certain techs. But ultimately, they make up for it in different ways with things like speedier Imperial officials. And Guildhall is kind of like a circumstantial thing, right? Like, you're going to be delaying the game in a very long way if you want to make that work. If BC can just find the tech up, he has got the necessary gold to pretty much queue up everything he could ever want. My only real concern right now is that Siege is not going to be a part of the picture here. You already see 2 more cannons now getting queued up by B. This is going to give him all the answers he needs to these Nesta Bs, because unlike China, these ones are made with slightly rotted wood. Yeah, you know when, like, they say it's mahogany, and then you get it home, and then you walk in on your kid, like, peeling the veneer off, and it's actually, like, MDF underneath? That right there, ladies and gents, is Zhu Xi Nesta Bs. They don't have the extra 50% HP that makes them unkillable. Now, they will at least have the extra range, but that's still not going to be enough to compete with the cannon range here. And guys, I'm telling you, this is the best siege weapon in the game. Out of all the cannon types, culverins, bombards, I think this is the best. Its mobility, its deploy time to fire, its damage, like all of it across the board, tick, 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 tick. I think it's the best functioning all around there. Crossbow stirrups now on the way to make sure these Arbiter are going to be the best functioning in the late game. Beastie, he went Temple of the Sun. It's going to give him that gap close. My only concern here is we've seen how, at this stage of the game, Arbiter can essentially frontline for you, if need be. Gamson's deck goes hard at this point in the game. You can already see it. 7 melee armor. Royal Cannon is technically? Yeah, exactly. Another example why Byzantine OP, right? They play HRE better than HRE play HRE with Landstrecke. They play French better than French do with Royal Cannons. There's a lot of damage going to the primary TC. There's a cycle around the back. The Knights were chipping away. Looks like Keep Drop is coming in. It looks like Beastie needs to secure additional gold. Southside corner is pretty much already tapped. There's nothing down here for it. And there's the cannons we talked about, the snipe factor. Now, Divine Haste is going to allow him to gap close fast here. Was that toggle? No, he just got close enough. Knights are going to dive in, though. He just doesn't care. No. He doesn't even have Royal Bloodlines yet. It just doesn't matter. Beastie. Where's the rest of the army? Oh, my God. They're guarding for the Keep Drop. He did not put everything into the one fight. And B called him on the bluff. Absolute disintegration. I mean, it felt like the spear count in Seoul may have been a bit low, but now you know it definitely was when they weren't even showing up to the fight together. An unusual error by Beastie. I think he just got in his head. B with that rotation earlier, forcing the error by showing up here. Meant Beastie felt he needed to defend. Then B goes in for the pile driver, taking out the primary TC, forcing reaction in the center. At that point, Beastie's mind is on two different fronts. He divides and conquers. And notice that Beastie's rushing back in the fight. It's not just because the numbers are close again, it's because if you now wait, these Knights rejuvenate. And then any damage you do get done is gone. On top of that, the bombard count is getting scary, guys. At this stage, these things kill the infantry efficient. Look at that damage. 115. Almost a one hit. Oy, oy, oy. And more goodies on the way. This is all before we even see the extra uni text coming in. The scenario is now on the way. The greased axe was doing Surely Never Die. And there's the beast drop. He stands his ground. For good reason. There's nothing left. Crossbows are going to dive in for the cannons. We'll start to micro the injured ones away. At this point, he's just playing with his food. I think Beastie is now just processing the L. We'll probably see him surrender in a matter of moments here. It means the B is going to be leading on our brand spanking B map. And good showing from him as well. Good control. I mean, the open of the game definitely looked like it set Beastie back a bit, but I felt like he'd done a good job of recovering that initial, deer issue. Overall, just can't fault B. Didn't overcommit either. Like, I like the fact that he took this strategic approach of realizing actually, like, Guildhall, Long Con is the play. Royal Institute would have given him a one hit in the reload against one of the historically best defensive players in Age of Empires 4. He didn't fall for that risk. He balanced his chances. He took it into the late. He makes himself look great with an opening win against our reigning champion of the midweek muster. Now I'm going to fast forward just to close this because it's got to be creeping up in your heads a little, hasn't it? A reigning champion, the midweek muster, but we just saw him in the last finals have to go all the way to 7 games to secure that. We just saw him come back from Milan, where the Project in Louis MT annihilated him, as he annihilated everyone throughout the course of that tournament. Are the cracks already appearing in the armor? Or is this just going to be another classic 5-game Beastie versus B series? Let's find out. Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a pleasure and a privilege to be part of the A2 team. Who knows, maybe we'll be able to do more in the future. Everyone was just so welcoming, so kind. I had a great time. Minus the getting ill. That was a roller coaster, and still is. But man, this could be a roller coaster of a series. Have we not seen this matchup before? Was it B on English and Beastie on Japanese the last time we cast these two here? History could be repeating itself. Okay, well, let's see how Beastie is going to strike back, because I believe it was a game where he got pushed onto land No, that was right. You guys remember, it's where B kind of forfeited land, went for a treb all in, and Beastie clawed his way back in. That game was an epic one, by the way. Almost able to thread the needle, but in the end, Beastie did take him down. Let's see what lessons were taken from the last appearance. So, interesting one with this is like English versus Japanese on water. Economically is comparative. And what I mean... Okay, that was janky. What I mean by that, we're on 2 times speed just for the first few minutes because water is usually a bit slow to open up. What I mean by that is that while the Japanese save a little bit of wood per ship, right, 19 wood, the reality is you save 7.5 as English. So you can see the difference is already very small, but where it gets economically better for English is then when you look at all the other boats, they also save 10% there, something that the Japanese do not benefit from. So for Japan to really get the edge on water, they need to do a twist on the land, and the twist is always going to end up being the same thing currently. That is going to be to play into the Shinobi. I wonder... Okay, yeah. I was wondering if we might see a longbow build. With the Abbey of Kings, though, you at least get to keep pressure on. You can still play into like the longbows afterwards. The difference is, similar to the Shinobi, you now have that healing element to the game strat, right? So if you get away from a fight, you come back full HP. And we've all experienced how painful that is to deal with in general. It's not a fun thing to have to play into. I've been on the record multiple times saying, I don't know, man, like, feudal healing kind of just feels OP. Only certain civs can get access to that type of arsenal. Others cannot. And I think something that doesn't really get talked about enough in RTSs in general, really, is the idea of health as a resource. Have you guys ever thought of health that way? It's interesting how your perspective on not just RTSs, but many different video games changes when you do think that way. Health is a resource. It's limited, usually, right? Or there are restrictions on you getting it. So an example of that is like some games like Dota 2 will have regen per minute as well. Other games will have healing spells that cost mana, so you're transferring one resource for another to get health. And then there's obviously, you know, games like Overwatch where it's still a resource. The whole idea is damage is another converted resource, and your healers can only give you so much of that resource to offset it. So within an RTS, though, the difference is an RTS like this, what's the resource you're expending? It's like the Shinobi is going to get caught there, sabotaging the dock initially. We did get double dock, so it didn't affect too much. Well, the thing is, that's where it gets really weird with AoE4, I find. Because AoE4 doesn't actually have a healing resource, like Faith, which AoE2 has, right? Or Mana, or anything like that. So these healing impacts tend to be ridiculously over the top at times, especially in Feudal of all times, because of that lack of limitation. I think the only reason we haven't had people kind of really highlight it as an issue as time has gone on is because in our late game, the game becomes such an unrelentless meat grinder that you kind of lose perspective on that detail. Have as many healing units under full health. Yeah, like that's actually a strategy. Like that's literally like from day one that was a strategy, right? That's what people do French Knights. Cycle in, injured, pull away. Need to pay resources to build monks? Yes, but then they can provide potentially infinite healing. So, water play is starting to open up a little bit. We do have the longbow reaction. Okay, this is about to get sick. Is B going to bail on water again like he did last time? It doesn't seem likely, actually. B's the one holding back here. So, Beastie rather is the one holding back. So B's going to be able to make the first move in with the archer ship and poke at the fishing boats. He's going to force reaction. Good immediate pull away there. Okay. And B does actually have a Spiral, so he kind of looked unconvinced about whether he should just bait and switch water entirely. But the longbow mass is good here, guys. Another problem I see on this spawn is... Oh, man. That... You must have said something mean about a god when you were a kid and got cursed. Because that is a curse. That triple gold on one screen forward. These longbows are going to eat that up. Now, Beastie, he did do the right thing, setting the outpost up here, but it doesn't actually stop the longbows reaching if they go around to this west side. He needs a second outpost to protect this. Oh, this is bad. Especially now with the king here as well. And B, he's already adding in spears. A little bit paranoid that the horseman reaction just makes too much sense. And he's read it perfectly. BC now has the stables on the way. Both are going to be able to start poking. And here you go. This is the good thing. Just move away. Heal. Come back. Shin interception is not going to get a kill either. So guess what? Just heal. No, wait. No, no. Beat. No. No. What was that? B's like, KP, hear me out. The new yeoman from House of Lancaster would have got that kill. Okay, fair enough. Didn't know I casted AoE 2? I didn't cast the AoE 2. I hosted it. So, different role. Different set of skills required. But there you go. This is what should have happened to all those dead Lombos. They should have just been rejuvenated to full. Like, it would have been an overwhelming advantage right now. So it has rebalanced things a little bit. Now I'm a bit concerned for B. He doesn't actually have enough Lombos to quickly contest the Shinobi. The Horseman should be able to flood beyond him. So he needs to get some damage done on water. And it looks like he has been prepping for that. Has got the demo ship in play. Something that BC is yet to add in here. Good eyeballs. Okay, they were fighting on water. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow today. For the fact I am, I'd say, less than 50% of my usual self. Lombo's back in position. Now, this is what I'm talking about. There is a sweet spot here where this arrow slit will just not hit you at all. You can see the line. Like, you can just scatter around this. If there's more than, like, 3 villagers here, you'll always hit something. And here come the Shinobi Rush. Has to be careful with those spears. You lose them, you lose everything here. It starts so fast. Spears are going to break off to deal with the horseman chasing. I love the fact the king is just trying to muddy the fight a little bit. But the longbow ring of roses. Getting relative value, but the outcome undeniable. Beastie will be able to hold. And there was no distraction this time. No fight on water at all. So Beastie, position improving, man. And all of a sudden, your mind goes back to that game where B forfeited the water and tried to go for the all-in. He doesn't want to fall for that mistake again. You see what's coming. Admiralty is going to be a double down water side, and this is scary, guys. He has more Springle chips. He's got an archer ship to protect against Demo Pump. And with the extra range, BC is now going to struggle to compete here. He needs to sabo the docks if he wants to stand a chance. Instead, he's going to push on land. Chin in. Looks for the villagers. Sabotages all the buildings instead of stabbing them. Because we really don't want them to learn how to use picks better. They might attack us with them, which would actually make English villagers good against horsemen. Okay, so he sabotages everything in the neighborhood. Gets no worker kills, but now in return, Clash is underway. This is ambitious, though. B is overextended. The extra range is irrelevant at this stage. We got way too close. So we'll have to back away. However, after that dive, you know, although Beastie looks like he's in good form on water, that B didn't get anything out of the Admiralty timing. What B may have just been given is the land again. Beastie started to pull away to try to go towards Castle Age, but without the Shinobi threat, B knows where to target, remember, guys. Trip gold on one screen. There's only one other exception as far off to the north side. Feels way too risky to go to at this point. So if he can just find that strangle point, the Castle Age kind of becomes irrelevant. Okay. Yep, he's already checking for it. He sees demo ships are going to get denied. It's so difficult, man. Like, in the early days, that was a move that worked way too often, but players long time ago learned. Nice micro by B. Extra range really helps. He's just trying to get that start step shot. Gets rid of the demos one by one. Then lands. Looks at that choke point, but no. Beastie, he does get this secondary outpost now online. Fortification now coming in means B, a good attempt, instead now has to follow him into the Castle Age. You hate this map. Why would you say such an aggressive and triggered thing? Okay, so my take, I feel like more often people hate the idea of playing these type of maps themselves. And in some ways that can lead to a hey of like, I don't understand, therefore I don't want. But personally, I don't know, I don't think you have to always be capable of doing something yourself to enjoy it. Right? Like, before I start climbing, I liked watching Magnus Mitbo do insane things. And even when I started climbing, like, it didn't change my enjoyment, but there's some things I can appreciate more for sure, but there's still plenty I can't do, right? I think as you understand water yourself more and more, your appreciation of the complexities becomes different. It's kind of like for me when I went to study game design. The way I looked at video games fundamentally changed in a way that's irreversible, whether for better or worse. I think for a lot of people, what they don't like about water is they don't understand it because they don't want to engage with it. It's not a forced part of the original gameplay, and there's already so much overwhelming to them. But my advice would be just relax and just try to enjoy it for a cinematic element. Quite often we spend too much time looking for the understanding of the build order and the way that we could replicate. And because most of us don't want to play water maps, we don't care about this element because, bleh. But from a cinematic standpoint, from an entertainment standpoint, this is still the best water map in the game. And the best part still, guys, is that more and more players have been finding ways to basically win without water. And what is up, Better Than Surge? Appreciate you, mate. Welcome to Swarm. 6 months in advance. What a legend. Man, you're set up for all the KPMM and beyond. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Remember, King can't die to a Wallalow. Boop. So nice to know there. Both now teched up. I wonder, do we see B? Yep, rushing for the monks as well. So it's going to be a relic race. Then my detonation's in the center. Both are going to be whiffs. Why always OT to the losers? I don't think they always lose. I think they got a better win rate now than they had before. Horseman raid coming. Okay, this is like depressing. Sometimes I wonder if you ask like English players if we took away their short bows and gave them shivs, would they be happy? They'd probably say yes these days. Early days they didn't care because no one built horsemen, right? But nowadays, oh my god. There's at least Smim in here. Because if there wasn't, these guys would all just be dead. So we're going to clear up. It was a white tower build. We've seen this before from B. I'm growing increasingly worried he's going to lose in almost the same fashion as last time. The difference this time around, though, is he's still on the water. And the lead is building, folks. It's 16 hulks now to 9. And he has 8 tower range on these bad boys, making it almost impossible for demo ships to sneak up on you. How's my foot? It was pretty inflamed from like all the walking the last few days. I think it's calming down a bit now, though. I just don't really have time for physio. I mean, I'm streaming so many hours, I just never find the time to do physio when I'm at home. So yeah, it was a workout. Looks like he's trying to give BC quite the workout here, because with this extra range, you just see how easy it is now to take down the docks. Not just the extra range, remember. The Spiral Crews also give the increased attack speed. Yeah, this is the stage where like docks just start to feel like paper mache against mass Springwall fleets. Need time for physio? Oh, I know I should, but here's the unhealthy brain and life of a content creator. You just never really feel like you have time. Never feels like BC has enough time to get these relics. Are you kidding me? B already has 2 more on the way home. The fourth rather, is really close to his base. Then there's another one on the island, and it looks like he's on course to win water. So we could easily have a 5 relic English game with water 1. Now the Samurai are going to start arriving. Wallow's going to be coming through. A little bit of a panic there, actually. Beastie, I'm pretty sure he could have got the kill. Just wanting to get out alive. Another raid in. Not much damage done with that one, though. Good quick reaction. Solid coming out from B. And also crossbow mass now. So he can just kind of hunker down and let Beastie panic throw himself at him time and time again. Beastie, he's got one big load to throw at B. It's like they throw themselves at you and then they open the vest and reveal they've got paint bombs everywhere. That's a lot of demos. 10 plus. They approach. Archer ships are getting the early shots out. The extra ranges matter so much. I don't think he's going to be able to touch it. Beastie just kept fully in check here. B doesn't even focus on demos, guys. The demo play is something that someone who's behind has to lean into. When you have an overwhelming squirrel lead like this, especially with English, you just keep pumping it. Bit of a waste on the demos there, but okay. Meanwhile, Man's already walking up. Doesn't have much of a front line here. Kind of surprised, actually, he's posturing this aggressively. And again, things we can see that he cannot, right? And wait. Oh my god, does he see? There's no defenses out here. It's going to force the reaction. Okay, I kind of like this. The melee units are just getting rid of all the protection armor. So the crossbows can then focus fire down. The King's absorbing a lot of blows. Men-at-arms one by one as well. This is working. No, this was not ideal for Beastie whatsoever. He gets wiped. And now on the water side, he's distracted. He's keeping his attention here. He is attacking onto the buildings right now, but if he moved just the west, this would end the game. It might end it anyway. Look at this right now. It's 19 to 11 Springald ships. Beastie's barely been holding onto the water. Sure, he's had the fishing behind, but the reality check is when it comes to these fights, it's always been a growing lead. And now it's getting insurmountable. B, break between the engagement and water means he can now move to the west side. He knows where the gold is. The fishing, about to get reached. And B, about to go up to match point against the reigning champion here in the quarterfinals. Well, no, this is crazy. We genuinely could have a sweep type situation on our hands. Game number 3, we've got Beastie versus B. Beastie with the Byzantines up against B on the Chinese. Now, a long time ago, I actually would have leaned Byzantines in this matchup with the older meta, with the Lombo timing into fast castle. Pro Scouts has kind of changed things these days, though. Not to mention the Barbican plays that can come in that can just break the game when the boars spawn close enough. Now, luckily for BC, that's not the case here, but unluckily for him, he can't afford any errors. It's a 2-0 lead for B. Let's see what BC's going to try to do to get himself out of a sticky hole here. I mean, ideally, if he's able to weather this pick, he would have removed most of the threat from B's draft. Then you get his creative picks like Ottomans. Malians could maybe do well with a good dry Arabia spawn. And the other one would be Order the Dragon. That I think actually like Delhi and a few others offer some potential answers to. But this may prove to be a hurdle, man. China just, they feel like such a well-rounded Civ right now. In a way that they never have historically before. And the Pro Scouts meta just kind of amplified that to a new degree. Now, we are going to stick on the 2x speed, just the early mid-game. I want to make sure that we definitely don't run over schedule here. Because I want to make sure that we are able to catch the next series live. As after this, we are going to have Dumu versus Numidan. Let's see what he wants to do. It looks like he is sniping the deer already. Like this, because what we've have been seeing rather from Byzantine players is they've started to shove the deer into their base to block it from being gathered by their opponent. So good identification there by B to just get them on the ground now, so he can't be stopped. Pro Scout's now on the way. So we'll stick to the 2x speed. Archer's now getting queued up. BC javelins, right? No. Is he thinking Lombos? He is. Oh my. Dude. The soul read. So the Western historically made a lot of sense against Chinese. That wasn't a colonialism reference. It was more the case like when we first saw Byzantines versus Chinese. The whole idea is like once you get Castle Age, if you Landsknecht deals with mass spears to get to the Nest of Ease, and Chinese dies. But B read him perfectly, man. Like, he went into the archers to address the Limitane, which you gotta expect, but, like, was Beastie... I'm trying to think, like, was Beastie expecting maybe, like, Spear Blob as well to defend this? Because we have seen a lot of Javelin play with Limitane, right? And you can technically just blob lots of Spearmen to contest that. Now, it's interesting because Beat is still going Spearman in the end. So BC still will get his comeuppance by playing Lombos. It might be part of his thought process is he just wants to sit here. If he sits here between both deers, Lombos can react much better than Javs because of the extra range. And just snipe out both sides. So Horseman now coming in. So we are going to get the full 1-1-1 build. No greedy rush towards Castle Age here. BC will be much the same. He's going to have to play a long funeral. If he thinks about getting Castle Age, you're going to need probably about at least 20 Olive Grove to feel comfortable with the idea. Because if you go sooner than that, you're going to run into this issue against Pro Scouts where your opponent could just all-in you from feudal. Oh my god. I've only been live an hour. My throat is so bad. Apologies if it's showing, guys. We'll try to survive. Something tells me that Beastie is going to be reluctant to play this game overly aggressive. You know, a guy who's been saying that recently he's been playing a more aggressive line. When you're 2-0 down like this, it's almost like you want to double, triple, quadruple check before you cross the road, right? So I think, like, from B's POV, he has a lot of leniency to just be cheeky, essentially to get out of line. And things like this, right? Like, if you see your opponent isn't actually out on the map at all times, fish for kills. This is a sick raid. Villagers not able to run away that quickly despite the wheelbarrow. We'll get in range now. He could activate the Akratoy to make this a bit easier to defend and does so. So that scares him off. Only one worker kill, but a lot of auto time. And does block the additional conscription of mercenaries, at least temporarily. We do have a shuffle out to the north side from Beastie as well. Just like we should have a shuffle from you guys across to that website that just got linked in the chat. If you haven't checked it out, by the way, we're working with AMD to talk about the new RX 9070 series graphics cards. Honestly, if I didn't have the 7900 XTX, I would have already upgraded to that one. It's kind of incredible, actually, how good the bang for buck performance is on that thing. If you guys have been looking for a new graphics card and you've been rolling your eyeballs because everything is just overpriced, it might be worth taking a look at that card. But do me a favor either way. Click on the link. Helps get AMD to keep coming back and working with us. Whew. Maybe B's got one of the those new graphics cards. Maybe Louis' PC had one of those on the LAN, and he had so many frames that his APM shone through finally. Ah, the possibilities. You know what isn't a possibility? A B Chinese game that doesn't feature Nest of Bees. I got a feeling we'll eventually get to those, especially on a map like Coastal Cliffs. Beast on the other side. Probably going to be your standard Golden Horn Tower build. I don't really see as much value in Gulpers here. The timing isn't right for it. The map isn't as open and wide. An Olive Grove count. He got forced to go for the tech up in the end. It is only 9, so he didn't get to that kind of preferential 15 to 20. Realistically, what happened here is B forced his hand. He's just in a very good position here. Already now looking to rush out the monks. I think we should probably have supervision for those bad boys. We do indeed. So every 12 seconds they're coming out. That's Lancers from B. Very dangerous spawn right now for Beastie. Yeah, because he's doing that classic thing that you do once you reach Castle Age. Immediately think about going out the stone to up your system levels to compete. But the thing that's quite quirky about Coastal Cliffs is that stone is intentionally further away from your base. So you have to take a risk and you have to come out. That can be easily punished. Especially now that B is going into the heavy cavalry of all things. We even have the Springles, of course. I thought maybe he'd want Knobs considering he's up against Lombos and also Limitane. Like, this may be one of the most inefficient comps to build Spriggles against that I can think of. Because the Limitane have range damage reduction, and the Lombos are so far away, it's very difficult to get the penetration shot all the way to them. So yeah, a little bit comical that he chose these over Knobs. Might be a scale point issue. Like, you can scale Spriggles quicker than you can scale Nest of Bees. Nice little snipe on the Monk, made him disappear. Relics are very heavy is what we learned from that. We'll just go the 2x speed again. Trying to scrape back a little bit of time for stream here. Spin Clash coming in, up against the Cav. Is going to have to pull away there. I think this is premature from B. He's just trying to posture to play for Relics right now. That's all this is just delay, drag Relics home, and then be content. And it looks like it has worked. We're talking about 4 Relics here for China. Yeah, kind of crazy. On top of that, he's still getting additional D. Now, plus Arley's coming up. I think the concern for me is right now there are just no walls. Right? BC doesn't have any real protection here. Beastie is washed. I'd hope so. Being in your 30s is probably a good idea to have discovered hygiene by that point in your life. Do you not wash? A lot more knights are coming, by the way. Yeah, he's not convinced that Beastie's doubled down on the Limitane after that fight, and I don't blame him. Right, the count doesn't actually look that scary now. This could start to brute force through. Got back to speed up. The farm count isn't there for him to afford that many Limitane, by the way. Like, until this goes up to 25, 30 now at this pacing, he's going to have a big problem. Remember, for B, he can afford to keep doing this because archers are low on food cost. And also, he has pro scouts. Second TC now coming in. So BC is going to have to play the long con. I had a feeling we're heading towards this. B might sense it and look to react the same way. Another way is obviously just go Barbican, secure one of the boars. In fact, why even secure it? He's actually going for the boars without the Barbican play. The Nestibes are showing up, guys. I warned you about these things. They're bloody obnoxious. Did you guys see the new catapult for the Knights Templar on top of that keep? Yeah, someone on the developer team looked at this thing and went, we need something that's even more obnoxious. That thing looks like it hurts as well. We watched a clip where it basically one-hit a mangonel. I heard Europeans don't wash as much. It's probably because we consume less Doritos and Mountain Dew. Whoa. Barbican now on the way on the west side that we talked about. So that's giving the Song Dynasty. That's going to protect the economy state a little bit. On top of that, wouldn't be surprised if he's looking at 2 TC as well. Also, European countries typically have very cold weather. We don't sweat. So what is Beastie's way out of the hole in this game? Like, how does he envision his comeback? If he goes to Imperial Age, it does get quite interesting. Foreign engineering company is a big deal. The volley is very powerful. You also do have the potential around royal cannons. The best siege weapon in the game. So I think actually like the idea of trying to drag long isn't terrible here. The concern might be in the scale points. Your opponent has got 4 relics. He's going to have the 2 sacred sites. If you just try to play for Imperial Age, you're not going to get there in good shape because the timer will be down to about 3 minutes before you can start fighting. At which point B could have matched you. He could have dropped a Great Wall Gatehouse on one of these 2 points. The Nestibes are also still in the meantime a problem. One that he's clearly struggling to reach. Knob shots are going to hit that back line, pushing him away. Needs to be very careful. Those Lombos are fragile. And the Nestibes, they're just so obnoxiously tanky. Looks like he's going to bail on them in the end, but the Lancers are now winning the fight as a result of it. Just has 1 Knob left alive. Made that 2. That's enough to keep him honest. In the meantime, the front line once again gets removed from the checkerboard. And you see the problem we're running into here, right? Like, these are the type of losses that Beastie still cannot really afford. The food income looks good, granted, but some of that is temporary. The olive grove count is now getting a little bit more healthy, up to 20, but for mass limitane non-stop meatballing, this is not really the economical scale point you need to be at. Yeah. And next series is going to be live. So we've got 2 live series today. It's going to be Dumi versus Numidan and Marine Lord versus Anatan. Love this. Just slowly now sieging down. The Nesta Beast saturation damage, it makes it almost impossible to repair this. Now it's just going to be a bum rush in. And guys, we look at that. Point in the game where B was starting to run out of food. Oh, wow. More food. Life is good sometimes. Walls also going up just in time, so no cheeky, easy decap. Beastie has to be feeling that sensation. He needs to make a move sooner rather than later. A horseman switch now on the way, but this is into Lancers, remember. Unideal position to find yourself in. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Like, you kind of want crossbows to deal with those Lancers, but you've already got Lombos, right? So if you go crossbow Lombos, you've got 0 frontline defense, and also Nesta Bees already counter you on one of those units. They'll count you on both. So you're kind of stuck in a way. You know, Lancers are easily able to keep the Franchine away. It's just not a good fight for them to be a part of. Has got Mangonel Tiles coming. I think for Beastie to contest this Sacred Site now, it's all about getting the outpost drops into Mango emplacements. The problem is he's already out of stone. It's gonna be pulled back to Clash. Mr. B's once again just making this almost impossible to fight. He's looking for that one solid shot. That's all it would take here. And the front line's gone again, man. Like, this is the thing. Even if the knobs don't get to shoot, it means the Lombos don't get to shoot. So what you're doing in this fight is you're removing, what, 15 of your population to remove 46 of your opponents. That is a 3-to-1 population removal effect. Now, neither dies, but next time you come to fight, the issue remains. We are finally seeing Beastie look towards what is probably his best opportunity to snipe them out, which is Cataphracts. Unfortunately, there's so many Nesta Bees now, you're going to need substantial Cata count to do this. And I'm worried, is his gold okay? He's got 1,400 here. He's going to need to secure this one over here for the 4K. Looks like he's already prepping for that. Very hard area to wall in. Spawn's kind of crazy. Oh, you mean like the tree line? Yeah, because basically both players get free tree lines, and it looks like B's all spawned closer to his base. BC's a bit further forward. This type of detail can be leveraged by either party, though. It's what allows you to try and wall the map and take a Sacred Site victory. Yeah, I've seen it occasionally. It would be nice if it was at least consistent, where like this tree line would be down here as well, and you get a very, very tight choke pointy Sacred Site win condition. Mind you, I guess like the bigger thing to highlight here would have been probably the golds. Like B got very tight golds. Right, but these things like... what I will say, these type of things, they come and go, right? And that, like, for example, game 2, we highlighted that, like, Beastie got either the best gold spawn ever or the worst, because he had, like, 3 of them on one screen as Japanese. Wait, did you have one less stone? Stone here. Your stone was here. Yeah, actually, holy crap. I didn't notice the stone. Where's your other stone? Wait, is it this one? Oh, this one? Eh? There was 5 stones on this map. Look, hey, wait, don't look at me, man. Hold on a second, whoa, look, Beastie, I'm gonna do it to you. Don't make me pull up that clip where you're like, Avali's like the best map creator ever, and Coastal Cliffs is like the best custom map. Oh my god, though. Is this the recovery fight? Yo! He may have got it, the Cataphracts. They did trample a little bit short. He's starting to break through. BC with the hold. Good split on the Lombos. Front line gone. He ain't dead yet. Beastie able to strike back. And he's reduced the countdown. The bees, the Mr. B, should be getting cleared up here. Good timing. Good hold, and much needed one at that. Sacred Site win condition was decapped a little bit earlier, by the way, which is why he is not dead right now. And folks, this game will indeed go long. The food income is now in full swing for Beastie. Bees is now getting online as well. I hope you are a big fan of Inferno from Heroes of Might and Magic. And I hope you like your tier 1 units, because we are going full in. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to do that reference. I've been playing way too much Heroes of Might and Magic on my phone. You guess the 2 in the center are meant to be neutral? If 2 stones in the center are meant to be neutral, that's the math still doesn't support. Golly, I'm concerned for like Germany's education system if it hasn't quite taught you to count to 5. We are uno stone short of split. Oh, got it. So we shouldn't be criticizing your education system. It should be more your eye care system. Avali will hear from me. Oh, God, stop making me laugh. Jesus Christ, I'm dying. Man, this is rough now. I mean, it's a stay of execution, right? But we talked about the late phase of the game. China's definitely no pushover if it goes too deep. I do think there's some recovery arcs, though. We talked about this, like, if Beastie can, in good shape, get towards the Imperial Age, you have got the Royal Cannons, which are going to be phenomenal for dealing with a lot of the siege. A little bit tricky against Clocked Out, always is going to be, but deals with it a lot better than any other civ in the game. You also have Cataphracts, which also still function as a support-type unit. But the other cool thing is that hand cannoneers aren't as much a concern because you have got Lombos with volley. So you can kind of kite them. What would be scary is if we get so deep in the game that B gets his hands on Yuan. Not just because the marching drills, but because he has got 4 relics here. So the pagoda power is going to be through the roof. I think that's one of my big concerns is like... The olive oil is nice for your own mercenary generation, but like whenever you're playing against China or Zhu Xi, the biggest thing about relics, like I feel like you need to deny relics from them just as much as you do from HRE. Even if you don't want them, you need to make sure they don't get them. Okay, that's cool. He actually got the trapezites tech. We haven't really been seeing many players go for this, but it's very smart. It gives you improved torch damage by 25% per unit in range, if there's a scout near. That's great. Means if you've just got a few units, you're going to be able to rush burn through a wall. Wait, what just happened to Beastie? Why did he just get timed out? I'm gonna check on that afterwards. I just looked across, it's like, where did he disappear to? A 2-minute timeout. I mean, yeah, Beastie, get back in the game. Focus on the... Why are you not playing the game right now? Come on. This one ain't over yet. Courier Siphon's coming in. So, quick way of burning through the walls. And pretty cool, actually, on these choke point fights as well. If you use them on the gates and you force your opponent to come and defend on that choke, it also will stop him from repairing on the other side, which shouldn't really be possible due to Lombos, but due to Nesta Bs can happen. That is an interesting wall. And this is going to be an interesting moment in the game. Foreign engineering company is now on the way. Yeah, got horseman raids into the farms. That should get mostly mopped up. Only a little bit of chip damage to be done here. Yep, Beastie got cancelled, much like that final slab of the palisade that would have stopped the decap earlier. Does he realize what's happening here? He has to be sensing it a little, right? He needs attack. Palace Guard switch up is an interesting one. Lombo's a little bit better at dealing with that, actually, due to the lower ranged armor by default on PG and the higher base damage on Lombos, which we're now seeing in this fight. Even Landsknecht, they're also getting added in. Another good fight for Beastie. But you always reach that stopping point. It's the nest of bees. This is so toxic. Every time I see this. Alright, we're going to hit the 2x again. We only got a low rate coming in. Actually, no, pause that. We've actually got a big push. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oi, oi, oi. I thought he'd back up and just look for the age, but no. It's plow time. Beast says, screw it, you've got too many Lombos. Otherwise, you would have stopped this. Lancers march into the farms. Army's finally going to react. Reasonable chip damage done. Auto time achieved. And something more important has been achieved here, guys. The decline of the Byzantine Empire. That's right. Thrive in the Age 4? Oh, no. The Age of Decadency upon us. No. We need to be more relevant towards history. The decline of the Byzantines. Where they couldn't even afford to pay their own loans. No gold income whatsoever. If there is ever a switch of unit type needed, he will not be able to afford it. He can build horsemen, lombos, probably not even limitane. No, he never got the elite for that. He can't build anything that's gold heavy like cataphracts, which means now he has no good answer to Nestabees. He can't afford university techs unless he trades like crazy. But guys, don't worry. There's a way. You guys know what the way is, right? You trade. So if you sell enough wood, you can buy university techs. So all you need to do is gather like a few thousand wood. A few thousand wood. No, not a few hundred wood, a few thousand. There it is. There's our few thousand wood. And then he'll be fine. Oh, I'm seeing the problem. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, man. This is brutal. I'm really not sure what would happen with the spawn on this. I mean, in fairness, so I'd have to go double check what the scout pattern was at 3 minutes in. Because we do have a ruling that if a player is unhappy with the spawn, they can pause, give the reason, and then a remake can be decided in the first 3 minutes. I'd say, with the way you scout Coastal, you can almost... I want to say you can almost... Not 100% guaranteed, but almost guaranteed reveal everything. In time, right? I feel like you should be able to. And I feel like this is just pure depression, man. The cannon can't even kill the Great Wall Gatehouse in time. It's going to go up. And Beastie's hopes is going to go straight down the toilet. Not the tree line. Horsemen are going to make their way into the farms again. But I think at this stage, B's probably just going to like double keep drop this side and then just force fights to run the timer down. We'll hit the speed up. Let's have a look and see if there's any developing plans here. The good news for Beastie, if there was any civ to be no gold with, this is the civ. Right? You can get premium units without gold in a way that other civs can't because of the olive oil. Not just things like Lombos, Landsknecht, well, Lombos obviously food with, but, you know, Landsknecht, and Zhu Xi, but the siege. Nestabees, cannons, like this is the interesting thing about Byzantines, and sometimes it can make them feel uber busted as they can function economically in a way that other civs just really can't at this stage without gold. You know, like, when I think about it sometimes, you know, especially after I just done this AoE2 tournament, AoE2 gold is like, makes the entire world go round, right? If you wanted to like do anything meaningful unit-wise, gold. In AoE 4, we tend to lean away from that, but in more recent times, I think we put more emphasis back on it, which I think is a healthy thing, actually. Because gold is the most limited resource. But if there is one civ that is hypocritical of that pivot in dynamics that most civs are now engaging with, it's this civ, Byzantines. And this is about to get brutal, folks. We've got pyrotechnics. I mean, this is killing blood. No! In Beastie's defense, had these tree lines spawned symmetrically, clicking here, these cannons would have went down here, because there would have been a tree line here instead. And that never would have happened. Oh, but in all seriousness, that is just brutal. Cannons, he just really can't afford to lose. And a wee power switch now coming in. It's going to slow him down a hell of a lot, but he kind of just has to. He can't afford these risky trades anymore. And what is up, Tag Miles? He can afford to do that all day and all month long. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the sub. Welcome back to Swarm. So where this is really just going to start to differentiate now, guys, is going to be like Unitech-wise. Yeah, we've got incendiaries in from Beastie. Well played there. But the Horsemen, I believe, do not have biology still. Okay, oh no, thumbs up. He did get biology. But on the other side, we're going to have what? Mass Palace Guard with Elite Army Tactics, contests. Plus the extra army you get is China as well. And then hand cannon is pyrotechnics. Like the amount of techs here, advantageous to B, is just kind of stockpiling too high. Beastie just trying for his passage to raids here. The problem is, guys, usually when Beastie does these type of strategies, he has like, you know, a lot of wood left to work with. He does, it's just going to be painful to gather. In fairness, like, I've seen this wood add up to quite a lot on this map. It just feels very tedious to gather from. This, however, is a sick raid. No reaction out of B. Yeah, he finally pulls away. That was very delayed. A lot of villagers lost here. Ends up deleting his mining camp because it's actually griefing him. Swamp Group Lancers on the way, but that doesn't address the Horsemen still. At this stage, you have to start wondering, would it have just been worthwhile for B to have built maybe like a stone wall on the wider flanks and only use palisades in the center? We are, however, now diving through the one area we probably never should, right? Like this thing is atrocious. I'm still to this day kind of disgusted by Great Wall Gatehouse's damage. Rely on raiding for gold over Horseman upgrade. That's a fair point, actually. He did get Exploratores, which is where he's been getting that trickle of gold. Because if you look, he's got 0 on gold, hasn't really been trading, no relics, bar 1, which would be 80 gold. So let me just switch over, you'll see it in his view. So good shout on that. He has actually been getting those kills. It's actually, I think, the only reason why he's still alive. And look what it's getting him. This is big. All right, this could be a game changer for him. Silk Bowstrings takes him up to 8 tower range. The Nesta Bees are 7.5. So you can line formation concave outrange them. That's big. With volley, that means you can start sniping these things down finally. Still going to be challenging with Clock Tower with the 50% extra health. Not to mention the fact that your opponent can still go Siege Anjumar, but it does give away. We already have that raw cannon threat. They can always snipe you as you come in. Another thing to keep in mind is just makes the life of the hand cannon is horrible. But the growing concern here is that time is not on your side. You need to move with urgency. We're down to 3.5 minutes. Horsemen are going to go for the ride-in. Nesta Bees looking to be sniped here, but Smimmen quick to protect the secondary. And it looks like B has completely forsaken his Nesta Bee strategy here. Only one remains. Now it's all Palace Guard. Okay, he's turning this into a body fight for Sacred Site control. Beastie doesn't care, though. Are you kidding me? We've got 3 minutes to go, and you... Yeah, come on, yeah. Hold up. Like, but we want to go get some gold, man. We heard these Chinese villagers just, like, carry it around in their pockets, and then when they, like, do their job for the day, they drop it off at the location where they're working. Don't question the logic. It is kind of what they're doing, though. So PG will at least eventually clear up the raid. Both of them have been suffering on economy, but I believe for Beastie it's been more a case of just deleting villages and not replacing. He wants the army as big and as bulging as it can get. Folks, I do believe we might get an extra game here. I mean, unless... Wait, where... Where are the horsemen? No. Is he trigger rated again? The longbows are unguarded. He has to back away. I can't believe this. Yeah, he split up too much. The army's big on a map-wide element, but in this fight, the squishy underbelly is left unguarded. Palsgar just able to find the weak point, chases it all the way home. He has to retreat, can't afford to risk losing the cannons at this stage. And the timer continues to tick. Horsemen now going to shot for the Sacred Site decap. Bombards are going to get sniped as well. Hand cannoneers alongside them. The spearmen are now getting queued up. The Palsguard spears have reached the longbow mass. They've been completely torn asunder. No backline. It is full melee against Palsguard. All right, we've reached nightmare form here. I can't believe this. Beastie, it was looking so good, but he never had new longbows queued up because he was focusing on just getting as many raw cannons going as possible. He even had Streltsy coming through. But that decision to go north with the horsemen, to not have that second rotation coming in quicker, I think just cost him the game. I mean, in fairness to him, if he hadn't sent the initial group up here to bait the army back, he wouldn't have got that dive in the first place. But this does feel like a grim way to go out in the end. PG will just show up to guard again. And the issue is, like, at this stage, especially with the loss of cannons and whatnot, you just can't go for this one over here, right? This Great Wall Gatehouse will just kill you all day, every day of the week. Even the Royal Cannons. The west side was really the only easy option in this game for Beastie. Which it's kind of comical because the easy option also involved him playing away from his third tree line. No. I'm not gonna... Sorry, guys, I'm still dying. I'm not going to focus on it. We're not focusing on it. How much golden trade? On this map, not much. You're usually looking at, like, somewhere around 30 gold, I think it can be. Last stand. Beastie valiantly charging forward here, but the horsemen are simply no match. Streltsy count of only 6 isn't going to cut it either. He's looking at that rotation around the back, but at this stage, B can just run the meat grinder to run the clock. Keep drop now coming in. I mean, maybe, but Beastie, the problem is it's not quite close enough. He can't afford a second one. If it was here, that might give him a contest opportunity. Bombards are going to be wrapped on, but the villages are there to repair. Will be protected. And B will protect his clean streak. A 3-0 victory over the reigning champion of midweek muster. You've heard that correctly. Despite our high expectations of him, it's been a rough month for Beastie in March. First, the finals of the Garrison. Just to come home and experience the nuisance of B 3-0. Maybe the nuisance of Abilene as well. Oh, no. Let me know what you think of this series, guys. I think we might upload this as a one whole together. Big shocker? Big expectations? What do you want to see in the next weeklies? What do you want to see in the upcoming tournaments? Has this changed your outlook for the rest of 2025? Or do you still think it's going to be a dominant year for BC? Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you all in the next chapter.